Welcome. Good morning. This is Darlene Costanza, and I am thrilled to be able to have with me on the Zoom video meeting today the District Attorney from New Orleans, Leon Cannizzaro. And Leon, I hope you're doing well as we're all trying to work remotely. I know this is new times and hopefully short times.
You're right. I hope so. I know this has certainly affected, I think, everyone's lifestyle. I know that as we were just saying a few moments ago, I was talking to someone, when you think about where we were several months ago, what we're doing right now several months ago would have been unthinkable. The adjustments that we have had to make, the social distancing, to a large extent, I think has been our best defense. And it's really hard to imagine this, but the social distancing has been our best defense against the spread of a very, very deadly and harmful disease. So, and I'm very appreciative of what I am seeing. I think the community has responded in a very affirmative way, in a very positive way, to the dictates of their elected leaders, the governor, the mayor of the city of New Orleans. And I know sometimes they're making some very, very unpopular decisions in the minds of some because people want to get out and about. I know they want to go back to work. I know that, for instance, I have a daughter, and I know she wants to get her kids back in school. I know many moms are now learned how to be homeschool teachers. I think, but I think there's some positive things too, Darlene. I think we've seen, I've noticed in the neighborhood, I cannot tell you how many people I see now walking, taking afternoon strolls, families together, people riding their bikes. So there are some positives that I think have come from this. I am like everyone. I am hopeful. I am prayerful that we can get through this and we can get back to normal as soon as possible. If there is going to be a normal as we knew it, let's say several months ago, but I hope that we can get as close to that as we possibly can.
Well, definitely it'll be a new normal for a while. But one of the things that I'm so encouraged with is the fact that all of these advocacy agencies, your office, certainly law enforcement, Crime Stoppers, other nonprofits, we didn't go away. We didn't stop what we're doing. We've been working remotely, working for victims and their families, working for justice. And I really would like to, have the opportunity for you to talk a little bit about how your organization is continuing to work with victims and the importance of those victims reaching out to you guys.
Well, that is important. We unfortunately cannot stop because there are going to be criminal acts that take place in New Orleans every single day. I mean, just this morning, for instance, I know we're talking on Tuesday, April the 21st. This morning, we had a shooting of a police officer in the New Orleans, in this part of the city, New Orleans East. That's unfortunate. Last week, we had other police officers who were shot. So the violence and the criminal activity is continuing to take place. The office is working certainly in smaller numbers. We have met with the judges, we've met with the public defenders, we've met with the sheriffs, we've met with the clerks. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to coordinate our efforts so that certainly we can still address some of the issues that have to be addressed, like the setting of bonds for the individuals who are arrested. And what we're doing is the lawyers are going into the office every day, and just like we're conversing, they're doing it with Zoom, with the judges, setting of the bonds, making the judges aware of the individual's charge, his criminal history, the circumstances of the offense, and the judge, the defense lawyer puts in what they believe is appropriate in mitigation on behalf of the defendant or the arrested subject, and the judge then sets a bond based on all of that. So we are essentially still dealing with the first appearances. Because the courts have been shut down and because we cannot go into court and the clerk's office has been closed, we have not been able to file the formal charges against those people that we think charges should be filed against. The assistants, the people who review or screen these cases are still working, and they have been working, and we have, as I explained to Mr. Morrell, Arthur Morrell, the clerk of criminal court just yesterday, I said, we have right now about 500 or so cases that we're ready to file with you. I'm not going to drop them all on you at one time because I know that would be a very difficult task for you to accept. But what we're going to do and what we'd like to do is we'd like to at least put the jail cases, those individuals who've not been able to make bond, whose cases we have filed a charge against, we'd like to at least file those cases into the clerk's office, have them allotted, and then in the same manner in which you and I are speaking, we can have a Zoom communication with that individual. Sheriff Guzman has been very, very cooperative in this and placing the inmates in a particular location where they can see the judge, they can talk to their lawyer, they can see the prosecutor, and then we can at least have them arraigned and possibly discuss, have maybe a pretrial conference or a status hearing and possibly exchange discovery so that when the courts do open up, we're not losing that much time with regard to a particular case, especially as it relates to an individual who is in custody and if he or she is in custody on a charge of violence. Now, as to those individuals who are on bond, we're going to sort of slow the process down. We hope that they're not out there committing other crimes, but there's not, in my opinion, as an urgent need in order to file the charges against them as there is for those who are in custody. But we will be filing charges against the individuals who are on bond if we think it is appropriate to do so.
And I think what's wonderful is seeing the cooperation between the different agencies, like you said, with the Sheriff Guzman and your office and certainly NOPD. And for victims who are the victims of these cases, knowing that the system is working, knowing that it's working in a different way, but has not just ceased, is increasingly important. Can you talk to a little bit about what your victim assistance program is doing right now? I know it's all remote, but how are they operating? What is the process there?
And it's as you said, Darlene, they are doing it remotely. With regard to the victims, some of the cases that we have that are pending, the victims are still calling into the office and the counselors are still maintaining contact with them. Much of the communication with the victims, and even prior to this, has been, of course, by telephone, by email, by texting, and now by Zooming if it's necessary, or remotely if it's necessary to have some face-to-face contact and speak with them. So we are still in touch with those individuals. You know, it's unfortunate because of the social distancing requirements. It's unfortunate that we can't sort of meet with them and talk to them face-to-face in person in the same room. But as I said, I've actually had an opportunity to speak to some of the victims. They are, if they call into the office and they request to speak to me about a particular issue, I will certainly try to help them. I try to return the phone calls, as many as I can, and that even relates to the victims or the witnesses of crime. So we have not really skipped a beat with regard to that. I'm saying that they're doing a very, very good job, and I'm hopeful that when we do get up and running, we're not going to lose any of the victims or the witnesses, especially those that are involved in these violent crimes, because the counselors are reaching out to them. Unfortunately, some of the services that sometimes we provide to them are not available at this particular time because everything being shut down. But again, that's what the counselors come in. It's very important that they are professionals. They have, in many cases, the training, the experience, and the knowledge to sort of direct them and guide them, with the hopes that we can keep them sort of engaged in the process and let them know that we are there for them. We are there to support them, to give them the strength and the encouragement that they need to go through this process.
I think what we're seeing through this COVID-19 pandemic is people are understanding the importance that they play, the role that they have to play, and it's really being each other's brother's keeper. I mean, it's watching out and it's making sure that we all stay in the safest place, and I don't just mean wellness, physical wellness, but the safest place forever. So reporting is part of that. But Leon, I really do thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. We appreciate your time with us, and hope we'll be able to do this again. Not too bad, is it?
Oh, thank you very much, Darlene. And I also think, Crime Stoppers deserves a great deal of credit, not only for doing this, but for the work you guys do on a daily basis to try to make our community a safe community. I know the tips that you receive have sometimes proven to be invaluable for us in solving crimes and putting criminals away, especially violent and repeat offenders. So I certainly thank you and applaud you for the job that you and your board do. I ask you to please continue doing that. And I know sometimes it gets hard and you get frustrated, But I think, that's certainly a part of, I think, all of our tasks, our responsibilities, and we just have to stay with it. So I thank you, I congratulate you, and I commend you for doing what you're doing right now. So thank you very much, Doreen.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.